Joining me now, James Thompson, running for Congress in Kansas's 4th District. James, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. I'm excited to be here. Thank you very much, Cenk.
No problem. So you almost got him last time. There's districts in Kansas that are actually surprisingly progressive. Yours is more heavily red district, and it was expected that you were going to lose by about 30 points in a special election. And you didn't, you lost by 6, you almost got him. What happened in that special election that allowed you to close such a huge difference?
Well, I think there's quite a few things, actually. We had a lot of progressive movement here in our state. In 2016, we took 13 of the seats back in the legislature, 1 in the Senate of our state. We had the Women's March here. Bernie Sanders beat Hillary Clinton 2-1 in our state. So we had a lot of progressive energy going into it. And then one of the things that the people respond to here is people going out and talking about progressive issues, making sure that we're returning power to the people, getting big money, corporate money out of politics. People here like those ideas, and they responded to them. And we refused to run a Republican-like campaign. We wanted to run on the progressive values that we were proud of, and people responded.
So the Democratic Party tells me that if you're going to win in a place like Kansas and in a red district like yours, you have to go more towards the Republicans. But you seem to have better results heading in the other direction. Why do you think that is?
Well, they say that insanity is doing the same thing over and over and again and expecting a different result. We looked at what had occurred here over the past 20 years, and it was basically Republican-like campaigns for the most part. And that's not what I'm about anyway. And so if I was going to run, I was going to run on the values that I believe in, rather than trying to twist the policies and programs that we believe in to fit some kind of mold that the Democrats in D.C. think are appropriate for this area. They don't know what they're talking about out there. They're not from Kansas. So I listen to Kansas Democrats and listen to the people that I'm going to be representing. So.
And Democratic Party, after seeing your stunning results and how successful you were, I assume that they're now 100% behind you, right?
There's a saying in the military about when you assume something, Cenk, and
I think I know what that
would
is.
Not, yeah, that wouldn't be a good assumption. We haven't heard anything from the National Party on this, so I don't know if they're going to be behind us or not once it gets closer to that time. They've been concentrating on our 3rd district and 2nd district here, which have some very good races going on there as well. But they write us off because of this, what they perceive as a red district, but they use our district as a basis for lowering the political report, or Cook political scores, I should say, for both the 2nd and 3rd district down to lean Republican instead of safe Republican, even though they didn't touch ours. So we're not getting a lot of support out of them, and we're not counting on it, and I'm not looking for it. I don't think that they know what they're doing when it comes to running in a red state, and I want to run the race that I think is appropriate for the people I'm going to represent.
So, and James, by the way, is a just Democrat, so he doesn't take any corporate PAC money, so he's uncorrupted. In fact, you ran that race at preposterously low dollar per vote, right? you spent only $11 per voter. As a point of comparison, for the Ossoff race in Georgia, they spent $230 per vote. So that's a giant difference, and I would argue you did far better under the circumstances you were in. So what did you spend the $11 per vote on that was so effective?
Well, we spent a lot of it on just getting out the vote, making sure that we were doing ground and pound here. We were out knocking doors. We made over 330,000 phone calls, 220,000 texts. We knocked on about 40,000 doors. We bought every sign that we could find in town, any digital billboards, any mobile billboards, anything that we could find like that, we spent money on. And then digital, we crushed them in digital and Facebook and Twitter, making sure that we were getting the word out there, YouTube. We took technology and used it. We had people from all across the country that were chipping in to help out, people that were coming in wanting to test out new ways of texting, et cetera. And we were written off already, so we had nothing to lose. But we tried it, and it worked, and we were really excited about the results that we got.
Yeah.
And I think if we'd had a couple more weeks, we could have taken it. Or if the National Party had come in and actually helped out, when the Republican Party came in, we could have won it too.
Yeah, and it was only a 60-day window because it was a special election, so that's what made it much harder. But now you could unleash your volunteer army for a much longer period of time. That's why I think you stand a pretty good chance of winning. And you know, James, you're telling me the same story I hear from a lot of the successful candidates, which is ground game and digital. And so the big consultants, they want you to spend money on TV because they get 15%. And so they don't, to you, wasting money on TV is the bug. For them, that's the feature. So
I think that's exactly right, Jake. And I think that, you know, we wanted to put our money where we thought we could get the most bang for our buck, so to speak. And that it's not that TV doesn't have its uses, but there are other ways to get out there. You want to motivate the millennial base, then go to the platforms that they're looking at. Don't just, you know, assume that everybody is going to watch, you know, cable television or the local news channels when a lot of people are only on Netflix, Hulu, YouTube, those types of things, or Facebook and Twitter. And we really push that into our campaign.
So I want to just ask real quick about your policies too. I know you're Just Democrats, Democracy for America, Blue America, Brand New Congress, Sister Giant, they all endorse you. These are all wonderful progressive groups. You're a civil rights lawyer, but what are the policies that you're concentrating on in this race?
Well, we've got several. We are really wanting to make sure that we push Medicare for all once we get there. Understanding, though, that, you know, until 2018 is over with and we take back Congress, that if we don't take it back, we're going to have to look at some other options in there as well, because it's unlikely that the Republicans will go along with the Medicare for all plan. But I want to push that because everybody should be entitled to get health care and should be able to get the things that they need. Making sure that our working people have a livable wage, that they're able to provide for their families, have a dignified job. That in particular will make sure that we take care of some of the other problems that we have out there. If somebody has the ability to take care of their family and get their children educated and make sure that they have health care, that's going to take a lot of the issues off of their plate and allow them to have a much better result in their own lives. And then veterans is a very big issue for me as well. Not only because I'm a veteran, but I've seen firsthand the destructive effects of PTSD on families, including my own, and I want to make sure that our veterans are taken care of too.
All right, I want to make sure everybody's got the links for James, so let's put those up. And these are always in the description box on YouTube if you're watching on YouTube, and in the comment section on Facebook, votejamesthompson.com. And then obviously that his volunteer army has done some amazing work, so be part of that. And if you deliver this victory, it'll be, you know, it'll be amazing. And we get to prove all of the conventional wisdom guys wrong. And James, I think you're really onto something with that. There is a lot more progressive fire and passion in Kansas than people realize. You know, well, of course, we talked to Brant Welder in the 3rd district. He's now beating the Republican there, the incumbent, by 7 points. And so finally, you know, you've got your side, and I think part of the reason that the progressives are fired up and Republicans in Kansas are not is because of what's known as the Kansas experiment, which was a disaster. So one, just for people who don't know it, just real quick, if you can tell us what it is, and two, how is your Republican opponent tied to it?
The Kansas experiment, it was basically Sam Brownback's trickle-down economic plan, where he cut corporate taxes down to the bone and then cut spending down to the bone as well. So it destroyed our economy here, it destroyed our education system, and we're going to spend years and years recovering from it because of this failed experiment. My opponent was the treasurer of the state, and although he likes to try to distance himself from any decision making in this process, he never once stood up and said, "Look, we're really hurting, you know, this state," and he's continued to support that plan, and we've seen him support it up at the national level. They're trying to implement this, and actually, they did implement a form of this when they cut the corporate taxes. So the tax reform plan that we saw in Kansas is now being implemented on a national model, and it's going to hurt our economy. And I think that as time goes by, we'll see that. And my opponent just rubber stamps anything that either Trump or Brownback or the Koch brothers tell him to do, since we are in the Koch's backyard here. So.
Well, I can't wait for Thompson v. Estes round 2. I hope you guys don't make it pay-per-view. I want to cover it on election night.
I'm interested to see it get covered too that night. So
yeah, well, I'd love to see that 1-2 punch of Thompson and Welder coming out of Kansas.
The Twin Towers of Kansas, yeah.
Yeah, all right. Progressives on fire in Kansas. I love to see that. And then maybe we could write a book about what's right with Kansas afterwards.
That's exactly what we need to be writing about. There's a lot of things right with Kansas, and we're seeing that here right now. So hopefully everybody will go out to our website, votejamesthompson.com, and check us out.
All right, wonderful. Thank you, James. Really appreciate it. Good luck.
Hey, thank you so much, James. Nice to meet you.